All right, hey guys, it's Axe. It's Sunday, September 11th, 2022. Happy Patriots Day for those of you in the US of A. Just want to go quickly over some of my comments from Friday afternoon. And I talked about the New York Stock Exchange chart giving me some feels for the dates of December 7th, January 31st, and May 4th. And then later my comments into close saying that end of January period was quite interesting to me. So first, you can see I've got vertical lines set up here. Basically what we've got, and I don't want to go into it too far. You can pull up a chart on your own. I've got RSI here, I've got KST, and I've got the chart up here. You can pull this up on your own, either follow along or go through it after this video. But basically, combination of like fractal analysis and just checking out the RSI, the way that the technicals set up for every play here, and how we moved based on fibs and into these ranges. Basically, we're looking at either some sort of bounce that chops and takes us lower, or we're looking at something like this, where we set up a low that ended up going higher before going lower. Anyway, you can see what the chart looks like. I don't want to get too far into the weeds on that. But basically, we're at a spot now where I think we need to really be cautious, because the market can either go crazy here and having bottomed, or we can set up a move to another low. So anyway, December 7th, you can see was a similar move. We came in here off of like those November highs before we made the move to 4,800. And there's been a couple of times where I talked about we could be doing something similar, and maybe we end up getting, and this is the NYSE again, to 16.1 above like June highs. But anyway, so we could be doing something like that. We've also got that end of January move. It was actually a near-term low, a swing low, where we came up, we set up some chop before setting sort of that final swing low into that March rally. And that March rally, it's funny looking back at it, it felt like such a huge rally at the time. And now comparing that to July and August, it's nothing. But the other period was basically this period of chop and consolidation, down, up, much lower low. So anyway, those are the dates, and it's based on, you can see just looking at the chart and the technicals. And again, this is a 4-hour chart. Set up yourself and spend some time on it. You'll see what I mean. So let me switch. Actually, while I'm here, I'm going to open up. That's the wrong one. I want to open up Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, obviously, if we pull that chart up, it made a huge move into the close, or into the end of the day, and we're now up over 21,000. I think it was up over 10% on Friday, closed strong, and over the weekend, like looking at it now, it's like 21.7K. So anyway, and looking at Bitcoin in those two periods, you can see pivotal low. I might as well just start here. We came down, formed a bit of like a pivotal low, we spiked and then lower. Similar thing here in January, pivotal low, spike, and then this actually set up that sort of chop and fade rally into those local highs. And then the consolidation period in May, Bitcoin spiked up pretty hard and sold off. And I think based on Bitcoin's behavior this weekend, I think it's much less likely we're going to see something like this. In fact, let me just open this up. If I can get the right chart, that would help you guys with it. Okay, so I'm just going to pull up Bitcoin here and just sort of wing it. I should have something a bit more like that, or if it just depends on if we're looking at a line chart or a wick, but that you can see that sets up pretty good. But anyway, so Bitcoin in that period of like we're looking at, let me just go back here, December 7th. Okay, so we're looking at December 7th, and we're right here. Okay, you can see Bitcoin that was coming off of a major high. So to me, that's not quite the same kind of thing. And in fact, we didn't really get our move till the end of December there. If we go to like the end of January, let me see here. You can see it's kind of like a reverse move, right? If you just mirror them, turn them around, you can see it's basically the exact same thing. So you could say we came down and then back up, or here was a down move and then a higher low and then we spiked. It's a little bit of the opposite here. But that's the period that I think is really interesting, because we're chopping around the same way. And you could say, if you really want to get into the weeds, you could, if it's going to reverse fully, it's going to go up and basically just reverse this pattern. But we'll see. They're both in about the same range, and they both end up going to the same spot before they kind of reverse a little bit. So anyway, I like that based on Bitcoin's weekend action. Like Bitcoin's had a chance to fade all weekend. It's not. And then our other period was May 4th. Let me find it. And you can sort of see here, Bitcoin spiked and then sold off immediately. And unless it does that like Sunday night, Monday, like I think that's pretty much out of the picture. This period here in mid-April, we've been watching, it's I guess the third week of April now, we've been watching that. And Bitcoin still could do something like this, April 21st. And I'll pull up that period here when we get to the SPX chart in a minute. But it's hard to say. Again, I don't want to fall in love with models or fractals or repeats of history. I just want to get an idea for, okay, what did Bitcoin do when it had similar periods of price action, right? And I just looked at the Tether prints 10 minutes ago, and I noticed that they printed more Tether this morning or last night. So they're pumping Bitcoin again. So let's see what happens. We got the merge coming up next week. But anyway, I just think we want to look at this price action and say, okay, what can we rule out? And I think we can sort of rule out this. We can probably rule out this. So we're looking in this range here, and we're looking at something maybe like this. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. And you may hear some thunder in the background. So that should be fun. Good old Florida. Let me get the right chart here. Okay, so here we are. And I've sort of got that period of the end of January pulled up here, and I will give us that sort of end of May, or sorry, end of April. Boom. Okay, so you can see here I drew basically some quick Fibonacci's. I've got VIX up here on the very top in the green. I've got Bitcoin here. And so if you look at this, you can see a very similar move. Right now we're in that 382, which puts us here in like that part, like I said, 31 January. And VIX coming down the same way. VIX it didn't make nearly as much of a high, but if we go to the fib, we're coming to the 61.8, and here's the 5. It's close enough for me, and you can see Bitcoin, maybe Bitcoin's racing to this spot here. And I talked about it a little bit on our Discord, and I said, it kind of looks like February 4th maybe. So Bitcoin could be racing ahead. I always said that Bitcoin leads, and Bitcoin could be leading here and racing ahead, so we're going to watch. That would give us Bitcoin at, if I just want to do a quick setup here, right in the middle of that range. So we could be talking Bitcoin. Well, this is total. My bad. This is the total market cap. Same idea. But just so I can not be a moron. Okay. So you can see we're racing up. This structure is very similar. To be honest, it's very similar. So Bitcoin ended up going pretty high here. Gosh, in fact, it went back into that range. So we could be looking at something like this, which is like Bitcoin 27K, 26, 20. That could be significant. It would happen fast. It would happen this week. So we'll see. That other period, Bitcoin came down. It was coming out of this whole consolidation period, and we did have that rally. Very similar move that set up this rally. So you can see we rallied in March. Bitcoin sort of followed up and set those lows. It could be something similar here. Where Bitcoin is coming off of this high and rolling back up before it fades. VIX looks much more accurate here. And if I was to draw a fib, you can see, you can see coming down to like the 618, and we're almost there. So, and sometimes the Bitcoin weekend action can be tricky because Bitcoin keeps rolling for a few days while the indices are, and equities are not doing anything. So they have to remain in sync somehow. And so the charts aren't always perfect. But if I wanted to do a fib and I wanted to say, okay, let's see. We went 382 almost to the 618. So that would take us to like 4150. I mean, that would be interesting. And again, the move doesn't have to be exact, but I could see, we're right in that range where I think this is just above the 5, 4100. We're right around that spot. And I did mention like 4100, 4120 in Discord, and that's sort of where I got this play from. So anyway, basically we're watching these two periods. These are the two periods that I think are most realistic, right? So they both came up into this, they tested the underside of this range, came on to new lows. In this case, it dropped pretty significantly. So for me, I'm watching, it's pretty simple. We're going to watch 4120, and we're going to say, okay, do we break out? If we break out of that range, right? If we break out of that range, I think it's pretty simple. We're going to do something like that. Okay, if we fade, then we've got this to test. We could come lower. There's a lot of wicks to clean up around here. We're gonna see how we respond to these lows. There's some liquidity to grab. This is pretty clean down here. But again, we're gonna watch and see. Does history repeat itself? Here we came up, we consolidated. We do have OPEX week coming. We're gonna watch VIX and see how VIX responds. Does VIX keep selling off, or does it hold strong around the 61.8? And let me put that in log so we can get a price on it. So that's like 22. Does VIX go to 22, or is it going to come down closer to 21? If VIX breaks 22, we know, let's take a look at this. If VIX holds, we're going to keep watching that mid-April, late April period. So if we break out, the chances are that this is just going to go off to new all-time highs. I don't think we're going to dick around anymore. Like we're either make or break. Like we're either done with pricing in all the recession and all that bullshit, or we're going to keep, playing around with these ranges and making lower lows over what seems like an endless period of time. So anyway, we're going to watch. Are we breaking out and going up higher? What's Bitcoin going to do? Is Bitcoin going to get up here and test this range? If so, we're looking at something, where we have an extended rally or off to new to all-time highs. And if Bitcoin fades right off the bat, we know, okay, let's look at this period here. Bitcoin would end up going back to the lows. Ethereum would probably sell off pretty soon. So I really think a lot of this is going to be pending based on OPEX. We have some financial reports coming in this week. I think we have CPI, and then we've got the Ethereum merge. So I think this is like the perfect storm, the perfect catalyst. Everybody thinks it's going to be it's just OPEX. It's a pretty simple setup. For me, I think we have the setup to basically reverse this thing and finally capitulate some people into October like we've been watching. But again, if nothing happens this week, if we keep going higher, then, give up on those VIX positions, to be honest, and we give up on trying to short this stuff and we start looking to get long. So that's where I'm at. I hope that makes sense. I know it's a lot of talk and it's a lot of charts and a lot of moving and clicking, but feel free to fire away, ask questions if you got them. And I hope you all have a good week. Thanks.